Hey y'all, Skye Blue here, and if you love wrestling, and I love wrestling, then we definitely love.
You're not here, you missing out. Is this show?
Welcome to the We Love Wrestling spot. My name is Terry. I'm with Maddie from Top Rope Squishy, and today we have one of the hottest young and up and coming stars in the wrestling business. Someone who's in the Midwest area. I've seen her in her time in Chicago at Chicago's Wrestling, doing a little intergender wrestling. Just last month, she was in the Generation Championship Wrestling Diamond Cup and impressed the whole state of Florida, I will say. We are with Miss Skye Blue. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How about you guys?
Doing good. Maddie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, alive and happy.
Well, Skye Blue, the first question I always ask before we get into it is, why do you love wrestling, or what started your love for wrestling?
So my mom definitely influenced it a lot. My mom grew up watching wrestling and loving wrestling, so it was always on in the house when I grew up. And at first I thought it was like a little crazy. I was like, why are they hitting each other with chairs? Like this is weird. And uh, and then I sat down and I watched it with her as I got a little older. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I told her one day, I was like, I'm gonna do it, and she's like, no, you're not. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing it now, just to I gotta prove it now.
Growing up, who were some of your favorites to watch?
I definitely loved the theatrics of like The Undertaker. Um, me and my, I don't, when I was younger, I had a hard time like getting into like the girls for sure. I didn't get into the girls until I was when they did the Revolution type thing, and they were like letting them like be athletic, like they were letting Charlotte use all her gymnastics. You know, they were letting like the Hell in the Cell, the Royal Rumbles, and like just I so badly wanted to be one of the guys. Like I wanted to do all like the TLC matches. I wanted to do like the not gimmick matches, but you know what I mean, like stipulation matches. There we go.
Right.
I wanted to be one of the guys. So I loved watching the hardcore matches, even though they terrify me now.
Why do they terrify you?
Well, okay, because I was in a War Games, a War Games style steel cage match on Saturday. This past Saturday, and I just had the root canal on Thursday.
Mm.
And between the painkillers, the antibiotics, and the ibuprofens, and the anxiety of a cage, I was like, oh my. And it just kind of hit. I was like, oh, I'm doing this. That's barbed wire. Those are steel chairs. And it was just like, it didn't sink in until like I was in the cage, and I was like, oh, those are bottle caps I'm about to go through. But I would go redo it a million times again, but without the root canal drugs.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's kick it over to Maddie for a little bit, then I'm gonna come back in at the end.
hello again, Skye. Thanks for being on.
Of course.
So once you figured out this is what you wanted to do, how did you get started?
So I was like very confused at first because I was a junior in high school, so I didn't know like how exactly to go about it just because I wasn't 18 yet. And so I was like trying to look around, and like I had found Seth Rollins School down in Iowa, and I had found there was like another one somewhere. I don't remember. It was like probably far away that I had found. And then my mom's coworker actually like approached her one day and was like, hey, you should take Skye here. This is where I take my son to watch. They train, but there's no women. So I was like very just like careful, being like, do you let women come? Like, is that underage? Is that an issue? Kind of thing. But like once I had my heart set on it, I was like crazy about it. Like I had like a whole notebook, and I would just write everything down. I'd write all like the school contacts, and I was like, okay, we're gonna like narrow the list down one day, and we're gonna see who I can reach out to the next day. And like, yeah, I was crazy about it.
Nice. So you got started around 18? Like when you
No, I actually started. So we were staying with my grandpa at the time, and he had just had surgery. And I remember I found the original school, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna plan a tryout. My mom was like, get through part of your junior year. I was like, no, I don't want to. And then she's like, just get through your junior year. That's like the hard year. And I was like, okay. And then I just got too impatient. So I was like, okay, spring break, we're going to go. So like I set it up during my spring break of my junior year. And then that was on a Wednesday. And then ever since then, I just kept going.
Nice. So you premiered as a professional wrestler in 2017, right? Around that time, about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, so now fast forward to the end of last year, and you were at the Diamond Cup tournament, the GCW. You were kind of like the underdog, right? Like nobody really expected you to get to the last round.
I didn't even expect that.
I was glued to the TV watching it. Just really impressed with all your skills. And you took on Donna Peruzzo in the first round by pinfall, right? And everybody expected her to put you in some kind of hold and make you tap out, but that did not happen. And then round 2, genocide. Oh my God. So she's 6 foot tall for real and 200 pounds.
Yep.
How was that?
So I actually met Jenna. I think it was a little over a year ago. I was an extra for Shine up in, it was like a double weekend. It was like Michigan and then Chicago. Mm-hmm. And so I met her there, and my mom actually came with me because like she didn't want me to drive by myself. So my mom got to hang out in the locker room with the girls, and she like got to talk to all the girls. But like Jenna was like super sweet and super awesome, and I was like super like excited to eventually work her one day. But I was just an extra there, so I just met her. I talked to all the girls. It was really cool. And then she was supposed to come to my home promotion right before COVID hit, but she's like from Florida and I'm from Chicago, and she didn't want to risk it with like the traveling and whatnot, which that show got canceled anyways. So it was like we always wanted to work, and then like the opportunity finally came, and I was just like, yay, finally, like it's a big project, but yay.
But it was scary, right? Because you're like so much smaller than she is, and she was tossing you around, but somehow you got her outside the ring.
It took a while, but
it took a while, but you managed to knock her out somewhat, and then by count out, and you make it to round 3. Queen Aminata.
Yeah.
That was a really impressive match.
That is between the Diamond Cup and a match that I had up here. It was like my all-time favorites.
So out of those 3, you know, with Donna Peruzzo, Genocide, and Queen Aminata, which was the toughest one of those 3?
Mentally, I'd say the Deanna one, just because it was the very first one, debut match against the knockout women's champion. You know, like just all the pressure kind of like gets to you in your head.
Yeah.
But like physically hard hitting is definitely Queen Aminata. Nice. I left with a bunch of bruises.
She looked like she could put a bruise in on somebody. She really did.
I was carried to the back. She's tough. Oh
wow.
I feel so bad when I was like rewatching it on Title Match. You could tell where it's cut. I felt so bad. It was just like the size. I definitely think it's the size difference.
Oh yeah.
Well, and she was telling me when we did talk that she trained in Japan. Mm-hmm. And they definitely are trained to hit very hard. Not hard. How did she explain it? Snug.
Snug. What does that mean? Snug.
You're not stiff, but you're. Is that Amy? Oh, I thought that was Amy. I was like, oh no.
Hi. Sorry, I came in late. I got
Nicole's part of We Love Wrestling.
Yeah. I unfortunately work in healthcare right now.
I would do that to you, Skye Blue.
Yeah.
I know you are going up against Kaci Lennox on the 15th, but I will be seeing you live on the 6th.
Yeah.
In Mission Pro. You'll be going up against Red Velvet. Yeah. So are you looking forward to that?
Definitely. I was really excited. I was supposed to come down to Texas a couple times before, and just the dates never like worked out, and it finally works out this time, and I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see you. And I just have one final question. I'm going to kick it off to Nicole. If you couldn't be a wrestler, what would you be?
At this very moment, I have no idea because wrestling has become my everything. Like I can't see myself doing anything else. But like before I started wrestling, I was very much so into working with animals and doing like wildlife photography. So something either in the photography field or like wildlife rehabilitation.
That's beautiful. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna kick it over to Nicole.
Oh, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Hello, I'm Nicole. Also part of We Love Wrestling and Down for a Count podcast. And I just want to ask you just a couple of things. So, my first question, which I usually kind of do some variation of this. So, if you could pick any person, whether dead or alive or known or unknown, to be your manager
Okay.
and to get you over, who would you pick and why?
Be my manager. Oh Jesus. That's a good one. Like, are we talking like women wise or men, or just doesn't matter?
Nicole.
Sorry, my cat ran out my headphones. Yeah, sorry. Can you repeat that?
Oh, like women, male.
Oh,
Male doesn't matter.
whatever you want. It's no genders
Okay.
limited.
I would probably say, it has like nothing to do with my gimmick at all. But like Undertaker, just because I've grown up watching almost every Undertaker match that there is. Like my parents were at the SummerSlam where it was Undertaker versus Undertaker. So I grew up watching it. So and like
Oh,
his
dang, that makes me feel old.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that makes me. It's okay.
No, my parents have loved wrestling forever in eternity. So
It's awesome. So speaking a little bit, I don't know if you might have talked about this earlier before I got in, but what do your parents love most about you pursuing wrestling?
my dad thinks I'm a little crazy, but that's okay. My mom absolutely loves it because like she's kind of like a part of it in a way. So when I started at the original company, she ended up running the front and doing the photography. So like, all the people would come in and then she'd be able to stand in a corner or wherever she wanted and just take pictures of the entire show. So my mom has photos of just about every one of my matches in my entire career. So she just loves that she can like share it in a way and it's like something we can do together. Like if I can, I bring her to shows if they're not obviously extremely far away.
Yeah.
One of these days I'm going to get her to either Florida or Texas, but just don't tell her, it'll be a surprise.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then and also one more question, then I'll shoot it back over to Terry. So obviously we Maddie touched a little bit upon like your upcoming matches that you're going to be having soon. What else in 2021? Obviously, since we're just getting into the year, what is one thing that you hope to accomplish or you want to do within 2021? Whether it's um pop up in a promotion or wrestle someone, what's one thing like you have to do wrestling wise this year?
I definitely want to travel more within wrestling. I started to last year as much as I could before, like, or not the year before, like, before, like, end of last year, into beginning of 2020. I tried to travel a bit more, just to, like, see, because I feel like as many different places you go, each place you go, you learn something different, the different people you work with, because everybody's trained differently, everybody works differently and whatnot. So I like the aspect of you can learn from different people like that. And if and when it happens, the one day that Kylie Ray decides to come back, I want another match with her.
It's awesome. I'm super bummed. I never really got to see her wrestle live. So
I was beyond ecstatic that I got to have the match with her. Just because we had the same personal trainer that we would work out with, and we crossed paths so many times, and we both wanted the match so badly. It was just like the dates never worked out, or like she was in Illinois and I was out of state, or vice versa, and it just never worked out. So when it finally did, I was like a kid on Christmas, jumping up and down, like. It was I love that match so much.
It's amazing. Well, hopefully that maybe get to happen again in the future. But again, thank you so much. Sorry I
Of
popped
course.
in so late, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening and speaking to us and giving us a little bit more of an insight about you, your character, and what's going on with you. And Terry, if you wanna take over.
That match with Kylie Ray, that was this summer in Chicago,
Yeah.
outside.
Yes. Yep.
It's like a fenced little area, had porta potties around it. I was out there. I saw it. They hugged at the end of the match. It was cool. So Skye Blue, I have to ask you this.
What's that?
Being you talked about your mom,
Mm-hmm.
and you said she's a big part of your career. We're gonna transition to something else. So I saw, let's call her Mama Blue, in a blog this weekend, with
Okay,
you and
call me
your
that.
other half, your other half of Team Nerdy, Missa Kate.
Oh yes, Missa.
So she told me the things that make her part of Team Nerdy. What makes you the other half of Team Nerdy?
I think because we kind of just beat each other up like a lot. We've worked together, God knows how many times at this point. We kind of just know each other inside and out. We travel a lot together, and it's kind of funny. When I was still at my original promotion, I was actually brought to her at the time home promotion, which is where I am now. And I saw one of her like very first practice matches, and I remember just like standing in a corner watching, being like, "Whoa, there's other girls!" Like, not understanding that there was more females in pro wrestling, but I was like terrified of her at the time. So
Okay, let's see. So being that you said you like to travel and everything, so you've been all through Chicago. You've been just came from Florida. Now everybody in Florida loves you. I don't know if you heard during your match, I was saying like I just felt I had a piece there. So I was like Midwest, maybe somebody can feel at home or something. But you're going to Texas. What's the next part of the country or the region that you're planning to get out to?
I would love to get to California one day. I've only been there once, and that was 8th grade terrified me. Eventually, I'd like to work up in New York because I think that would be really cool, and I'd love to see Times Square one day. Madison Square Garden is one day on the bucket list.
I'm from New York.
Oh, really? My mom went like before I was born, I think, or for a business trip. I don't remember which, but like she shows me pictures all the time, and I'm like, I want to go. Not fair. But yeah, I kind of just want to see the world, except for like the really cold places. I can do without that.
I kind of asked that question. I don't know what spotlight it was. Maybe like number 38. There's a company in New York who is very interested in having you once everything opens back up. So I in 2021 is very.
I had messaged a promotion in New York. Oh God, I think it was like the end of last year, like the very beginning of 2020. I keep saying yes, last year, like it's still 2020. 2019, very beginning of 2020. And I remember like I never got an answer, and me and my tag partner were like super bummed. We're like, oh, okay, maybe next time. And just because both of us have it on our bucket list to hit New York, so that's kind of funny that she said that. If that's the same promotion, I'm thinking.
I don't know which one it is, but I mean he put over a lot of Midwest talent, and your name was on there, and I threw some other names, and he was all about it. So I do see New York in your future.
That'd be awesome.
I
like it down in Florida.
Hopefully everything opened up. Florida is also great. So let's talk about this with Florida. So you were gonna face, and I still need to see this match one day, Roxy. But Kaci
told me that might be possible pretty soon. So
I heard that.
I didn't want
but you will be going up against Kaci Lennox.
Yes.
You know, I seen her a little bit. She was an announcer at MLW. She's recently just started training at Team 3D Academy. How do you feel about that match?
I'm excited for it. I saw the very first I saw of her was her dark match on AEW Dark. And so then like I was snooping and browsing and watching some of her matches. So I'm really intrigued. I think it'll be really fun. It'll be a challenge, but a fun one.
Okay, and if let's say you were to win this match now, like Maddie said earlier, you did in the finals, Queen Aminata did win and take the title home in the first ever Diamond Cup. Are you looking to get a rematch?
Oh, hell yeah. I want to wrestle her again. It was a hell of a match, but the bruises and the scrapes and everything was completely worth it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I'll bother Mr. Gomez about it too. Be like, hey, yes. I'll just keep poking at him until he agrees.
Mr. Gomez.
Mr. Gomez. He's the best. He's pretty cool.
Make it happen. I mean, she's right here. She's telling you that.
We'll bring him some bangs. Maybe that'll make him happy. You know, those energy drinks.
Just he he does like the bangs.
Just bring him a piece of bangs.
Look, we was in Florida. He sent someone to the store at like 1 p.m. and they brought like 20 bangs back, and he was so excited for the rest of the day.
I believe it.
The last thing
he drank like 6 at the last show, just straight. I was like, huh?
Yeah, that was wild.
That's a lot of bangs.
The last thing that we're gonna do before we get out of here is what I like to call the put yourself over moment.
Oh dear.
What that is like basically you give us your social media, your YouTube stores you have where people can go and support you. Anything else you have coming up, all we want you to do is just put yourself over.
Okay, that's a lot less pressure than I thought. I have Twitter, which is SKYEBYE, I think, something like that. And Instagram is the same thing, Skye and then _Delecki. Hopefully in the by the end of this month or next month, as long as there's no more damn root canals, I will have a Patreon up and running. So the little like behind the scenes sneak peeks and stuff of my wrestling and like just my life in general. I know I'm doing other stuff and I just can't think of it. I don't have Facebook just because I'm horrible at it. But yeah, I just want to travel and wrestle everywhere I can.
Ooh, all right. Travel, wrestle everywhere you can. So, before we... I should ask this to begin with. Skye Blue, can I ask the meaning behind your name? How did you come up with it?
So, I actually didn't come up with my name. Well, my full name is Skylar. And my mom has always called me Skye, and we've always spelled it with like the E at the end just because she wanted to be different. And then nobody knows how to spell my real name because they always spell it wrong. But so that's how the Skye came about. And then the blue kind of just happened. We were all joking around one day that it'd be funny if it was like Skye Green just to like piss people off. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. That just sounded so stupid to me. I was like, I'm not going to do that. And then I think it was my mom and my grandpa were like, well, why don't you just do Skye Blue? That's catchy. And then it just kind of stuck. Okay. I just didn't know other people had that name, but it happens.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you caught that one. Somebody posted that on my Twitter, and I was like, that is definitely not me, sir. Like, no.
We'll tell you something funny when this is over. Nicole, Maddie, Any last things before we get out of here?
Just wanted to say again, thank you so much for speaking to us. Can't wait to see what you have coming up next. Obviously, you're a great up and coming talent, so we're excited to see how far you're gonna go, especially this year. So we're just super excited for you. And again, thank you so much for taking the time speaking with us.
Of course, not a problem at all.
Yes, thank you so much. And I usually ask people this, and I forgot to ask you. Who would you want to wrestle if you can get a chance to wrestle? Someone that you haven't had a chance to wrestle yet.
That I haven't wrestled, I definitely really want to wrestle Priscilla Kelly.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fun. I want to do more intergender
I love
matches.
Priscilla Kelly.
Oh.
Love Priscilla Kelly.
Dude, I'm obsessed. And her dog is adorable.
Oh, I love Priscilla Kelly.
A nice dog. Priscilla's badass, yeah.
She's got a little pug with all the wrinkles. I love it.
Oh, pugs are my favorite.
I love dogs.
Well, I hope you get that match, and I would love to see it. So thank you so much for talking to us. I'm going to kick it off to Terry.
Well, kick it back to me then. Well, Skye Blue, I appreciate you giving us this time like everybody else said. January 16th. Yes.
Yes. Saturday.
16th. This Saturday coming up on the Title Match Network. You can watch GCW 15, The Legend of the Medallion Cup. Skye Blue versus Kaci Lennox is one of the featured matches. And then 2 weeks later, go back on the Title Match Network for February 6th, Mission Pro, Wishes Granted. She will be facing Red Velvet, which that's my sleeper match of the night. But it's going down. It's a lot of good matches. Again, Skye Blue, thank you for giving us this time. I'm Terry. And like I always say, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet for the couple.
Hi to you.
Hey guys, how you doing? You should be here.
You should.
Shame on you, but have a nice day.